G Herbo wants you to sell the Richard Mille and donate some money to Chicago because, according to him, our platforms, and we built our platforms off of Chicago. I think most of that maybe was aimed at me, but it was kind of, they lumped us both together saying we should both just donate money, which, by the way, I have donated money to organizations from Chicago before, but this is like a new iteration of call to action saying basically we need to give back to Chicago because we profited off of them. Thoughts?
Well, I kind of think it was really more the bozo who was doing the interview. Right. What's his name?
I don't know his name.
Like Friedman or some motherfucker. It's like one of these like
he wanted a
geeky-ass Jewish
thing.
kid that probably got beat up, you know, and finally has a little bit of a voice and is trying to be tough because he actually called you a bitch on Twitter and stuff like that.
Well, of course
he called you a bitch in the interview too.
Well, yeah, he's trying to engage with me. I wouldn't. We already got the dossier on him. We got him doing blackface, all type of stuff. I just don't want to. Yeah, we just don't want to engage.
What?
I got the pictures.
Blackface?
Come on.
Yo, show me the picture. Show me. I want to see this shit.
Vlad, let me tell you.
Fuck that guy. Because you know something? I said, hey, man, I heard you want to debate. Hit me up. I said, on your platform or mine? Let's go.
Vlad.
He didn't even respond. Show me the blackface.
This is him.
Okay.
And scroll over.
No.
Come on now.
Look at this.
Yo, listen, we keep the files.
Look at this. Look at this.
We keep the files on them.
Look at this.
You know? So like,
well, you're a racist. Now, fuck you.
So really, I could have I could have dropped that at any time. But again,
we just dropped it, right?
Well, here's the thing.
No fuzz it out.
No, hell no.
Fuzz it out. We want to see this.
Yo,
Herb, why are you even interviewing with this dude? This dude is a racist.
He's desperate to try to get a back and forth to be relevant.
Right.
And he was probably looking for salacious talking points, and that's probably one that Herb bit on, because maybe the other things he wanted Herb to, like, to be honest, I've sat with Herb. I sat with Herb. I sat with Herb. We turned this big TV on. Yeah. And because he had said some tweets before about Chicago and me, and we went through them. I said, no, we're going to go off what you said. We're going to actually factually speak about this. And at the end of the interview, he pretty much backed down from everything he was saying. So like here, years later, I was like, you got baited into the conversation, and I understand. Yeah. But also, like, you know, I don't know how you feel, but I'm not in the apologetic mode anymore because I spent years. I always told people I could have done the war in Chirac better. I said, you know, I've done this media thing now for 15 years. With my experience at this point, I would have done it very differently. I would have had a lot more empathy. I wouldn't did it satirically, and I would have given a lot more different POVs with understanding the victims and the people who are being affected. Right. 100%, right? With that, I try to bridge discussions. I've tried to give back. But here's the thing, you know what I realize? You can never do enough. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, when we'll always kick you back in when it's convenient, and also we're going to rewrite the narrative, which is just not true. I didn't build my career off Chicago. It was one of the things I did.
Yeah, I did not build my career off Chicago. I mean, look, me and Herb's people are talking right now.
Oh, you got to get him on there.
Yeah, so we're talking about doing an interview, and we were actually supposed to talk today, but he was like on flights and so forth. So we're talking about actually, you know, but we're in active talks to actually do something. Because look, the thing that everyone expects from us is like, well, what about what you do? Or what about?
Oh, no, I definitely did that.
Yeah, you did that.
I definitely said you can't rob innocent grandmas. Y'all stole their credit cards, ran up a $1.5 million tab, went on vacation, bought designer puppies, $40,000 puppies. You and your whole crew, y'all got indicted by the DOJ. Y'all got indicted for fraud and scamming innocent people. You paid back, or you were ordered to pay back $140,000. Well, if we're talking about giving back, you're talking about giving back because you feel we should be charitable. Good. I think everybody in hip hop should be charitable. Yeah. You should give back what you stole. I'm sorry. That's not even charitable. That's just actually giving back what you have taken illegally. So, obviously, I don't think it's like that with her, but I'm glad you guys got to do something.
I mean, look, like the obvious thing is to say, well, what about your lyrics? What about you calling, you saying GDK, which is Gangster Disciple Killer? Like that's the obvious thing, but really, I feel like Herb really got baited into that conversation. True. it's not like he just came on board and said, yo, let me tell you about Vlad and Ak. Fuck them, blah, blah, blah. No, it's like he got baited into it. The guy's like, oh, because he's a bitch. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you could tell like Herb was sort of going along with the energy of the dude with the black face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, but I think for me, when I heard it, and because I know people that know him, and, you know, like I've interviewed him when he was a little Herb. Multiple interviews. You can look at my YouTube channel. It's all there.
You've interviewed Bibby too.
Bibby's my man. We're talking about doing another one. We keep in contact.
Yeah.
Like I helped Bibby make millions of dollars by showing him how the stock thing works, and he went on and did great with it. Like so, me and Bibby, you know, Bibby's done my platform multiple times. Like I rock with all these dudes. So I think like, yo, instead of saying you have to do something, I have to do something, why don't we just do something together?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Why don't all of us? Because none of us totally have our hands clean in this. All of us have done certain things that ultimately, you know, have had negative influences, negative repercussions that like that we can help out.
I love what you just said, but I hate it when rappers never take responsibility. They'll use this, oh, well, it was my life. And I'm like, listen, if you've made a lyric about promoting violence,
at the end of the day, all of us have done things that have unintentionally had negative effects.
yeah,
Right? Whether it's reporting on a certain story or whether it's doing a certain lyric and saying certain things. So at the end of the day, none of us could say, look, you know, I did nothing. I'm totally clean. You know, look, like the whole BTB Savage thing, I still feel bad about my role in that. I interviewed him. He told me about a home invasion and so forth. I didn't think he was going to do a picture next to a pool of blood, showing off his jewelry. But ultimately, that ended in the worst possible way. Like those guys kept, you know, whoever he had beef with and whoever the friends of the dude that he killed in self-defense obviously kept getting madder and madder and madder and madder until they took it out in terms of his murder. Like, so instead of us just pointing the fingers at each other and say, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, why don't we actually come together and do something cool? You know, why don't we, like, how about this? Like, instead of saying you need to donate, how about we donate?
yes.
How about all three of us donate? Like, we each throw in a certain amount of money and we all donate. Maybe we even do an event in Chicago.
I agree. And I'm telling you, I've ran into this issue so many times with rappers. Rappers don't take accountability. Like, for example, it's easy to say, you weren't from Chicago, so you doing this, you're worse. But they never say, well, my lyrics encouraged a young kid in Chicago who looked at me like I'm him. And when I said this is how I got down, he picked up a gun and may have went and did something. It's very hard to take accountability. And this is why I stopped having those conversations where I felt like I was damn near apologizing, because accountability only started and stopped with me. I was always down to say, hey, listen, I like if I could do the War in Chirac again, I would do it better. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that.
You probably wouldn't call it that.
Yeah, right. Never have I ever heard a rapper saying, yeah, I wouldn't clown him for dying. I wouldn't make this song. I wouldn't, because again, for them, they use the scapegoat of, well, I grew up in that environment. That's my life. But oftentimes these are millionaires that have left Chicago.
Yeah.
Like Lil Durk was living in Atlanta.
Right.
He's living in Atlanta.
Yeah, Herbo lives in L.A.
Lil Durk was living in Atlanta, making songs about the death of someone who died downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
FBG Duck. Again, I love Lil Durk too. And the thing is, like,
Doug was still living in Chicago, though, which is something I tried to change during my interviews. And that's the thing where you have that blackface dude, you know, who's sitting there trying to poke the bear, who you could tell doesn't really know who I am. You know, he may have seen a clip or two. It's like, if you look at my interviews, you really haven't, you know, heard me say, hey, you got beef with this dude. You want to talk some more shit about him? Let's escalate it. Really, it's like, you could look at like Fulio and Young and Ace, my interviews. But all the interviews are like, can y'all work it out? I know both of y'all. Like, can y'all do something? Can you, one of you guys move away maybe and just get out of this environment? Can you do this? I've tried to get people on the phone together. I've tried to de-escalate things.
Vlad,
I've consistently tried that. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does.
Vlad, you can't negotiate with terrorists and you can't negotiate with ignorant rappers. Here's the thing. You're trying to give context to how you do interviews, your style, and how you don't believe your fan, the Flames. They're always going to say something. They're going to be like, well, you asked him this that got him locked up. Like, they're always going to ask. They're going to move the goalpost because here's the thing. And, you know, it took me a long time to learn this. When someone doesn't like you,
they just don't like you.
You just got to go die for them to be like, oh, okay, fine.
Even then,
even then, it'd be like, all right, finally, this piece of shit's out of here. You can't appease these people.
Listen. Me and Boosie about to do another interview. I'm going to bring this up. I said, look, during my era, people dissed each other. You know, like Ice Cube kind of raised the bar. We didn't know Vaseline, right? That was like a really harsh diss record where he's talking about basically someone butt fucking someone else. Like, you know, like Eazy's butt fucking the rest of y'all and taking all your money, right? That was, ooh, wow. And then Tupac raised the bar. That's why I fucked your bitch. Like, oh, shit. You know, die slow. I fucked your bitch. I want you to die. The bar has been raised. Then Chicago raised it. Now you're talking about smoking on your dead enemies, right? That was, once again, the bar has been raised or lowered, you know, however you want to look at it. So then the Fulios of the world, you know, come in. Now you're talking about your dead enemies and you're doing videos in a graveyard holding up the pictures of your dead enemies, and some of these are kids. Some of these are Vlad, like 14, 15 years old.
Tuka was a 14-year-old kid. Vlad, we're being way too nice. Right, but we're being way too nice.
Okay,
trust.
So I'm saying, like, you're having this. They keep raising the bar to more and more ignorance. I told Boosie, I said the next thing's gonna happen is somebody's gonna dig up one of their enemies and make a music video with them. And you know what happened recently? Someone blew up someone's grave. Someone blew up a grave. And everyone was, my DMs were flooded. Yo, you predicted this, Vlad. Yo, the Boosie interview, you predicted this. And I'm not surprised. Someone actually blew up, put dynamite in someone's grave and blew up the damn casket underground. Like, it's insane.
They try to vandalize Pop Smoke's gravesite multiple times. Yeah. I'll say this. You know, and this is what I'm saying, like, sometimes we're trying to have these logical conversations with people who they're illogical. Yeah. Like, for example, so this conversation was also piggybacked by another conversation by someone else, another guy from Chicago. His name is Prince Dre. He said Akademiks is actually, he's responsible for a couple of these guys dying. To me, that's just so non-worthy of a actual educated, empathy-filled discussion, because here's the thing. His best friend was King Von. This is King Von's best friend. Yeah. The guy who's accused of killing 7 people is telling me,
the serial killer,
the guy who never shot nobody, that I'm responsible for murders. Now, one time would he say, hey, listen, yeah, King Von was accused of killing K.I. and he taunted her after death. He did an interview with me about FBG Duck, who, by the way, he would have been indicted for as for a murder for hire. And he taunted and laughed while I brought it up. These are things that's when I realized I'm like, I can't have a real conversation with you because you're looking at me worse than the guy who's your best friend that killed the people. So at that point, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I interviewed, was it O-Block Louie? Who got shot along with King Von.
And he passed away, didn't he?
Passed away. No, I mean, he didn't get killed, but he passed away, I guess, probably from the brain injuries or maybe drugs. I'm not quite sure. I interviewed Lil Tim. And I'm sure, I remember my man was like, yo, man, let's go to Chicago, come out there. I'll take you to O-Block. I'm like, you're not taking me to O-Block? You crazy? I interviewed Lil Tim. And Quando Rondo.
Hey,
I'm not going to O-Block. I might get hit by a sniper. Like, I'm cool.
I just wish there was a little bit more shared responsibility. Again, there's out of very fucked up situations come these amazing stories of rappers who made it. It's basically the flower that rose beyond the concrete, right? And even though sometimes their reality or what they're rapping about might not be the most positive, and it might be negative or even promoting violence, we usually want to see the turn and the maturity at some point where they're helping their community and helping other people like them show a different way, right? Picked up a mic instead of a gun, right? And every rapper who's ever made gangster rap should always understand that at one point you were the problem. You were the problem.
Well,
you were the biggest problem.
If they actually were legitimately a gangster before.
No, if for example, let's say Meek Mill, if you rapped and promoted that this is how a young black teen should operate, you should be selling drugs, doing this, don't do that, because that's what, when somebody's, always, again, and this might be a stretch, so I want to, give a disclaimer. I don't think TK was directly influenced by drill music.
Yeah, you don't interview the girl.
Did Chief Keef kill anyone? We don't know. But did TK think that murder was something that you could just do and just move on with life? And he subsequently killed 2 people, and then he's now locked up.
Possibly 3.
Yeah, and he's doing 55 years. So that's the point. It doesn't matter if you were
55 plus the 35.
Exactly.
I don't think they're running concurrently.
Yeah, they cooked him. And again,
it's a wrap. And I interviewed the girl in the middle of all that. And I got another interview coming out around with one of the people involved in that.
Really?
Yeah.
The girl told on him, right?
Well,
she did. She cooperated.
She cooperated, but they essentially had the whole story. Anyways, one of the victims survived.
Well, you have to realize. So it's like at this point,
it's a little fuzzy because she actually ended up getting convicted and then got appealed.
Cases like that collapse on each other, right? So it's like, hey, whether it's like the Gunna thing, right? Now, Gunna is a little bit different because not everyone took a plea. But if they charge 6 people with a crime, you were the driver, that guy got the gun, that guy over there, he knew the person in the house, he got access, and there was a murder that got committed, and everybody basically plea out. They don't need everybody to testify. It's just basically like a jury's gonna say, if everybody's admitting some guilt, how the hell, unless you just have some crazy exculpatory evidence, like, no, I could have done it that day because I was fucking my bitch over there on the west side, and I was nowhere close. You're gonna be guilty. So again, I really felt like the people he was with, they knew that, like, listen, we want to have a shot to come out of jail. I think he was looking at it like 20 years, 30 years, looks pretty steep.
TK?
Yeah, I think he was looking at it like that. It looks pretty steep. I'm a rapper, and I've seen rappers beat murder cases. We have seen rappers beat murder cases, right? And
which rappers have beat murder cases? Well, Gucci.
I mean, didn't Snoop have one?
Well, okay, so Gucci Mane, that was a home invasion. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Right, who else?
Didn't Snoop have one?
Self-defense.
Well, again, that's why you would beat it. You're not going to legit beat a murder case. But hold on, but even then,
if you don't have enough evidence. But I'm saying, like, okay, so.
But even then,
Gucci Mane, home invasion. The Snoop situation, I interviewed the bodyguard. Like, I know these stories intimately. There was a guy that approached them that was threatening him or whatever else, had a gun on him, whatever else. They pulled out first, they killed him. It was a hostile situation where someone else was approaching them.
Okay.
Right? A robbery like TK did 2 times, you're not beating that.
King Von beat murders.
Is this true?
Whether you want to say it took it to the jury, but the reason why King Von's career was allowed to happen is that there wasn't people cooperating. And a lot of the witnesses died. Like, he has a lyric where it'd be like, yo, just don't be witnessing shit. You know what I mean? And so it's like, hey, it is what it is. But
King Von legitimately beat a murder. See, you can't say, so for example, Hurricane Chris, once again, self-defense.
No, I agree.
See,
people
like,
ain't really beating
You can't look
murder.
at the self-defense ones and say he beat a murder. It was self-defense.
But
I would have done the same thing. If you put me in that position, I would have done exactly what these guys have done.
But when you hear they talk about it, they're going to act like it's a body. Like,
nah. Well, Gucci.
Yeah, they're going to claim it like, yo,
Gucci
that's a body, you know?
But Hurricane Chris.
Well, Hurricane Chris is a different part of his life. If he was popular as a rapper, you heard what what's the name said? Murder was the case that they gave me. It was like, oh shit, all right.
Yeah, but he was doing that while he was still fighting the murder, which is a little crazy.
Yes,
a little crazy.
But
I think he beat the murder afterwards.
But the point what I was trying to say is that you don't necessarily have to be doing some of these acts that you're talking about to be influencing the kids in a certain way. Let's think about Future. Juice WRLD literally died off of overdose, and he literally said, "Yo, Future's the one who got me on drugs." Future came out later and says, "I don't do half the drugs like I be saying I do it." Too late. Too late.
I do the other half though.
Yeah, he did. So